Hey, how are you? I hope your day is going well. And today, let's talk about how food and your diet affect your energy and how having too much of feminine energy in your food and diet or too much of masculine energy can actually backfire and can actually derail your overall energy and vibration and frequency you transmit out to the world. Now, first, I'd like to talk about what I have experienced myself when I have had too much of masculine energy in my diet, okay? So, what I mean by that is that obviously, first, maybe let's define the masculine and the feminine energy. So, masculine energy is always about structure, it's about support, it's about containers, it's about following exact, certain like rules. And to compare to the feminine energy, it's actually like concrete, okay? And it allows feminine energy to flow and experience pleasure and basically become the content. And so within context, and sorry, before I get to that, within context of food, just to give you an example, when you take a bowl of soup, since we are talking about food, so the bowl itself is the masculine energy, okay, represents, because it's that structure. It's that structure, that support, which supports the soup itself. And the feminine energy is actually that soup, it's that flavor, it's that color, it's that consistency, it's that being of the soup. And as you can imagine, one can't be really without the other, right? And in order for kind of balance and harmony to be in life, these two really need to be in harmony and coexist together. And so, how it translates and how I noticed it in my own life, affecting that my own energy and outcome and the frequency and the joy I feel in my body is that at first, obviously, because in my early 20s, in my teenage years, you know that if you've been following me for a while, I did experience kind of struggles a little bit with food. I went way too much into enjoying sugar and sweets and binging and overeating, and basically had zero structure. So, what did I do? I was way too much in my feminine, in the pleasure, following the pleasure, and just following the flow. And I struggled creating the containers and creating the structures and following certain rules and eating just certain amounts, right? And so, what then was incredibly important for me was to create the structure in my life, to get my eating under control so I would get out of that addictive like eating behavior. And so what I did was, first of all, I learned all I could about eating really healthy, high vibration foods. I actually became nutritionist, right? I studied nutrition, and I learned obviously how to eat well, how to make smoothies and salads and eat unprocessed plant food and all that. I learned the biochemistry of it, and I learned like the logistics of it. So I also started to follow like exact kind of eating regime and eating routine when it comes to times. And what happened over time was that I became quite rigid. Yes, I became quite rigid when it came to my eating behavior, and it had incredible gifts for me in such a way that obviously I healed my very unhealthy eating behavior, right, which was affecting my energy and frequency and vibration so much, because whenever I would binge and overeat and all that, I would just drop, I would just feel my energy drop in terms of my self-esteem and self-worth and body image and all these things, right. It also allowed me to kind of calm down my nervous system, and in a way really heal my relationship with food. Nonetheless, because I got into the overdrive eventually, I was following that masculine energy to the T, all these containers and these rules and these structures. After a while, I started missing a little bit of that pleasure, a little bit of that. It was almost like my rebellious side, or like that feminine side of me just wanted a little bit extra pleasure, a little bit extra room to do the unpredicted, just to be raw and a little bit wild. And I started feeling like I was missing something, and I started longing for that pleasure and a little bit more for the intuition, to basically, I was really longing for a little bit more of the feminine energy to come in. And so what happened was that I started experiencing or experimenting, sorry, a little bit more with the feminine energy. And I started to tune a little bit more in my body and listen to when I was hungry, and then I ate. And I started to learn like which food suited my body more, like in real life than just on paper. Okay, or than in textbooks. And so I started to learn how to mix and combine those masculine structures with the feminine flow. And as you can imagine, it started to backfire a little bit, because that flow and that pleasure is addictive in its own essence, right? Because it just feels so good. And as I was trying to find a balance in between, I was started to feel like I was swinging back in to that out of control eating behavior, and suddenly binges started to come in again. And so, as you can imagine, my energy, my overall energy and vibration, and again the frequency, started to be affected. And what I want to point out was that how it manifested in my life was that I was starting to draw in. I was starting to hide and became quiet and withdrawn. And I would be seeing less of my friends, less of my family. I would be sharing less of my ideas. When I was with my clients, if it did happen and I would overeat, I would feel really guilty. And overall, there was just this dissonance of the energy. And I would feel that the energy I was transmitting out to the universe was very mixed up. It was very blurry. It was tainted like with blame and shame and confusion, misalignment, and it just didn't feel good. And so the reason why I'm sharing it is because I want to point out that actually both of these parts of the energies, the masculine, the structures, and a little bit of the rules are important, as well as the pleasure and allowing yourself, to eat sometimes off the plan and just to tune in within your body to know what really suits you and what is like no-go zone, and where you have that room to move and allow for the pleasure and maybe for the mindful eating and stuff like that. Both of these are crucial in combination to create harmony and actually have the power to totally dial up your overall energy and the vibration and how you are feeling in your body and how magical you are feeling inside of you. And so I want to just give you a tip, because what really helped me on this journey was, first of all, recognizing it, first of all, really like noticing the patterns I was going through, the structures I created, and then notice that voice that I actually wasn't that happy overall with that. Yes, I was slim. Yes, I felt like energetically, in terms of that I had loads of energy, really well, but that femininity was just missing to it. And so then it was like my goal to experiment with the feminine side again carefully, but start noticing which foods really suited me. So again, I went back to my food diary and I started jotting down like what really suited me, what really pushed me over the edge, what triggered the cravings, and where I was safe and sound and I was able to be in my body and enjoy. And so yeah, so if that's something that resonates with you, yes, first maybe place to start is really ask yourself, where are you? Are you more in your masculine energy when it comes to food and your diet, or more in the pleasure and more like emotional type of eating of your diet, okay? And once you point that down, then see how you could bring a little bit more of the opposite, which you are having a little bit less of. Because really, I just feel like harmonizing these two and making them work together then just pours into your own energy and allows you to feel that magic inside your body. So yeah, I hope that helped. Have a beautiful day and I'll catch you soon. Bye.